welcome directors to your third challenge of project directing. The first two challenges were geared towards movement, whereas this challenge will be your first text-based challenge. We asked scriptwriting students in the film and media department to create scenes for you to direct. While you have some leeway with the text, because we want the screenwriters to see how their works look staged, you must keep at least 70% of their text. For this challenge, you'll be judged on the following criteria: creativity, character development, and overall direction. Directors do not always have a say in what text they're going to direct or who their cast will be. In this challenge, you will have one or the other. The director's packs have your actors and your scripts. You'll be divided into two groups, a scene selection group and a casting group. The scene selection team will choose which scenes each director directs. The casting group will then cast each of those scenes for the directors. Take 30 minutes to look over the scripts. Afterwards, Grace and Courtney will let me know which director is directing which scene. Abby and Rebecca, you will then have 10 minutes to cast all of the scenes.
The thing is, we're try and work out what they like most and try and give them something that maybe will contrast and they'll push them further, because that would be advantageous to them and to us. But evidently, if we can pick something we like, they might give us actors that aren't as suitable to them. So it's striking the balance of being nice and being tricky.
I really enjoyed the first challenge, but it was something that I was more familiar with, having studied dance theatre this year in theatre and performance making. And having done physical theatre in the past. So, and I really enjoyed what I produced with Abby because she's got a very distinct style of direction. I found the second challenge very hard, but in the end, we produced something that I think we were proud of, and our score from the judges reflected that. But I'm very much looking forward to the one that we've got today. I think it'll be really interesting.
I've only read the first page, but it's two people drinking tea, and then Frankie goes, strong, independent woman, remember? And then she's like, I slept with Riley. It's just great. Amazing.
These episodes, I definitely like the second one the most, just because I felt like my director had more of a clear idea of what direction they wanted to go into. And as an actor, if you're kind of working with someone who has no idea what they want to do, it gets kind of problematic. But other than that, I mean, I can honestly say that I've enjoyed every episode so far.
The wording is a little lengthy and it could be shorter, but the story, it has potential for like a period drama type affair thing. There's something there.
It's been good so far. I wasn't here for the first week, but I enjoyed yesterday, although it was quite different to how I expected. I think I was expecting more like today's challenge where it would be following a film script, but yeah, it's been quite good. Although I think I need to I'm quite inclined to suggest things, and I'm not sure as an actor whether that was kind of allowed or not, so maybe need to rein that in a bit today.
You've all now had a chance to read our scripts, Frankie and Lennon, High Street, and my personal favorite title, The Will. Courtney and Grace, have you decided which scenes which director will be directing?
We have. So, Courtney will be directing Frankie and Lennon.
Okay.
And Rebecca will be directing The High Street.
Okay.
And myself and Abby will be directing The Will.
Two wills. What's not to love about that? So that means that Abby and Rebecca, you'll now have the opportunity to cast each of those scenes. Go. Go. Ollie.
Well, I've worked with Rebecca and Abby so far, and I really respect them and their individual styles of directing. I've never worked with the other two, so I think to get either of them would be great, actually, to kind of experience a new style of direction.
If I got to work with Abby or Rebecca again, I would be really, really happy because I enjoy their directing styles and I enjoy sort of just working with them because they're just very nice people.
I'd like to work with Abby just because she's been doing really, really well. But other than that, I'm perfectly, I really, really enjoyed working with Grace, so I'd like to work with her again. I'm also curious to see what it's like to work with Rebecca.
I think I'd quite like to work with Abby because I've heard a lot of good stuff about her work. I feel like everyone's saying that. But yeah, Abby and Rebecca I'd like to work with.
Welcome back, Abby and Rebecca. Have you finished your casting?
Yes, we have.
Fantastic. Abby, who's going to be in your version of The Will?
I'm working with Luke, Nicola Hughes and Emily.
Great. And who will be in Grace's version?
Grace will have Anna, Poppy and Kat.
And in Courtney's direction of Frankie and Lennon?
Courtney will have Alexis and Azam.
And lastly, Rebecca's version of High Street?
Rebecca has Harry, Nicola Hurst and Liv.
Fantastic. You now have until 2:30 for this challenge, and I will let you know that the winner of this challenge gets a very big reward for next challenge. Go, 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 make.
I'm sure your way is much better. You've been here for years, waiting for them to die. Busy with the shop, but I loved Mother. I took care of her. Yeah, sure. I'd absolutely enjoy that.
Which man?
And actually, we should for Judith.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it could be quite good as well because you are male female. There can be some kind of sexual chemistry there as well. So it brings slightly another dimension. It's not a kind of shallow girl talk. It's slightly more than that.
So how's it going?
I think it's going well. I really enjoyed the scene I got, so I'm really happy about that.
Good.
We are definitely making it a bit more comic.
Cool.
It's a serious situation, but I think we're making it quite funny. So hopefully it'll be entertaining and not too animated. That's the balance.
And he saw your fucking clothes.
I think I'm more confident having some text to work from. I feel like when I have a scene, I get more ideas to how, because then I already have imagining the scene.
There's nothing that's screaming like you need to cut this now. We can just cut it as we go.
I just want I want to make sure it's not. I want to, and also I think the bit you need to, I want to be very quick fire because I thought this idea of you coming in and you kind of being face to face doing movements together but never touching, and then you sit and then there's some chair motif and then it's
excellent. Love a good chair motif.
Because I haven't done any text yet, so I have a lot to say with what I can do with it. So.
Fantastic.
I've also not done much comedy yet, and there's a slight kind of chuckle in this. So. When in doubt, freak them out.
Okay.
Cool. That's a really brilliant idea. Let's do that, and then. Actually, this could be live, this bit, just this section. So I honestly didn't mind which one I got, especially as I knew I could choose the actors I could work with to have in it, which to me was more of a comfort because I know where their strengths lie, I know with what ideas I had for each one where. So if I got another one and say, okay, well I want to do that with it, so these people fit it better, but for this one, I knew what I wanted, so I knew that these three would fit into that nicely. So I feel in a nice place with it.
Yeah, fine. Now you're going to tell me.
Yeah. Can we try it when so you're sitting down?
I promise you.
And then tell me what man put that smile on your face. Can you just try touching her?
Yeah.
Here.
Does that feel weird? Would you do that to your friend?
Yeah,
probably.
But
that's smiling face. The thing about this project is it's a kind of bridge between the two things. You know, you perform live in front of judges, but you're also filmed, and you also have to be aware of where the camera is in the room and what you're being asked to do. So the project directing has been really valuable in that way.
I think you can go from being sort of here to then start playing around in sort of this area.
Welcome, directors, to your third showcase. To remind everyone of what the challenge for today was, you were instructed to direct a scene written by a screenwriting student, maintaining at least 70% of their text. For this challenge, you will be judged on creativity, character development, and overall direction. To remind everyone of the prizes, the winner of project directing will receive patron night tickets to the Crystal Pite and Jonathan Young show at Sadler's Wells, and the top 2 scoring directors will receive tickets to Jekyll and Hyde at the Old Vic. We are seeing 3 scenes by screenwriting students today. Frankie and Lennon by Sumi Ball, The Will, which I think is a pretty good title, if I do say so myself, by Anastasia Nikolskaya, and High Street by Carolyn Wolfstorff. I'll also introduce you to today's judges. We have Senior Lecturer in Dance, Prathana Purkayesta. We have
Hello.
Senior Lecturer in Drama and Theater Studies, Dr. Bryce Leese. And we have Casting Agent Samantha Wilson. We're all very excited to see what you've done with these scripts. So, let's get started.
This is The Will by Anastasia Nikolskaya.
18th century to cousin Arabella. The mirror in the golden frame to my nephew Greg. I didn't think you'd show up.
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
So what? You haven't seen our mother for 4 years, and now you're here for the reading of her will. How greedy.
I'm sure your way's much better. You've been here for years, waiting for her to die.
I loved mother. I took care of her.
Yeah, sure. I doubt she needed your care that much.
I don't know why you'd bother coming at all. Why would she leave anything to you, except maybe a vase? I should be the sole heir.
I really doubt you'll get the money. Or what is it that you've been dreaming about for 20 years now? The seaside house? Yeah, good luck with that. Mother treasured that house. She'd never leave it to you.
She knew I loved that place.
I'm sure every once in a while, when she dignified you with an acknowledgement, you made certain to let her know about it. But let's be honest, she didn't care enough to know what we wanted. She did respect those who deserved it, though.
I've been here. I've been patient.
Meanwhile, I was making my own way into the world. Who do you think she respected more? Because it's not about love. We both know it. It's all about respect.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be quiet. Honor the memory of the deceased. Finally, to my children. Lee Harper Turner. To you I leave 25% of the family savings, 10% of the company shares, and any 2 of the flats in London to own and use as she wishes.
What? Is that it?
And to Alex Cameron Turner, the remaining 60% of the savings, 50% of the company shares, and all the remaining property, including the family mansion, the penthouse, and the seaside house, to own and use as he wishes.
It can't be.
Well, that's decided then. Oh, don't worry, dear sister. I'll let you visit.
Here we conclude the reading of Mrs. Virginia Kate Turner's will.
Bye, Lee. I'll see you at the funeral. I'll see you at the funeral. I'll see you at the funeral. I'll see you at the funeral.
Mrs. Moore, there must be a mistake in the will.
Mrs. Turner, if you have any objections, feel free to make a meeting with me in my office now. Please, excuse me.
You don't understand. There is something wrong. I know it.
Mrs. Turner, make an appointment. What are you doing?
Well, the way I see it, you are not overly busy at the moment.
I have other places to be.
But you're here now. It won't take a lot of time, I promise.
Very well, Mrs. Turner. Let's talk.
Mrs. Moore, you have to understand that Mother was an old woman. Her mind was weakened. You need to take this into account.
It is a very serious consideration. And many wills are annulled because of it.
Of course.
However, in the case of your mother's will, this will not be an option. Mrs. Turner specifically asked a psychiatrist to examine her to avoid any confusion. She was perfectly capable of making such decisions.
Then everything is even worse than I thought. My brother got almost everything. This can't be right. He hasn't visited or called in more than 4 years. He's never been interested in the well-being of our mother, and he obviously was interested in her fortunes. He did something to her. There's no way he got everything legally.
Unless you have any undisputable evidence, you cannot possibly take this to court.
Okay, Mrs. Moore. I will talk to you honestly and openly. I'm sure we'll be able to understand each other better this way, don't you think? You're a smart woman, Mrs. Moore. You understand what I want. And despite what you think, I'm not stupid. And I know you must want something. So how about we talk about it as two smart, mature people and reach a decision that would satisfy both of us? Is 10% enough for you? Because if you want more, you might need to start negotiating.
Mrs. Turner, you will have to leave. What would your mother say if she could see you now?
She would either be appalled or proud. I didn't know her well enough to predict her reaction. Sorry. And I don't really care what she'd think. Okay, name your price. Your house is grand enough. I assume you've done this before. Tell me how much you want for getting my brother out of the picture. I promise you, I am much more generous.
We shouldn't be having this conversation.
I have no patience for going around the subject in circles. It is a small town. There is no chance you could have earned so much just doing regular practice. You must get privileges out of reading old house wills. How about 15%? At this rate, I won't give you anything more than 20, you understand.
Mrs. Turner.
You've read her will. Even 5% of that is more than enough.
Mrs. Turner, please. Tell me your concerns about your mother's will.
This is High Street by Carolyn Wolfsdorf.
So anyway, as it turns out, this guy just wanted to exchange some money. I'm like, I'm not a fucking bank, right? Who the fuck are you?
I mean, I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know, huh? What are you, retard or something? This is our turf.
Sorry.
Be careful! Don't step on my sleeping bag. It's not cool.
I didn't mean to.
You don't sound like you're from London. Where are you from?
Will you stop making small talk with this lanky fucker?
Can you talk?
Do
you have somewhere to sleep? If you don't, you're welcome to stay with us.
What, are you fucking kidding me? You just met him and you're inviting him to stay with us? You're fucking insane.
Shut up! Just because I'm not a heartless bastard like you. So which street are you from?
Well, I'm not from here.
So where do you sleep?
Yeah, he's gonna survive here.
Oh, we can't just chuck him out in the cold. That would be cruel.
Didn't I tell you to shut the fuck up? We can't take in every scrawny fucker we find out in the street.
What is wrong with you? You just said he wasn't gonna make it.
What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? You just met him and he's taking your food.
Oh, I am really sorry. I didn't mean to steal your food. I'll just be leaving then.
Yeah, fuck off!
No! Please stay! Seriously!
No, he should... Fine, whatever. But don't you for a second think you've got a sleeping bag.
Don't worry. You can have my second sleeping bag.
Okay. You can sleep over here.
Fine.
Fine, but don't blame me when you get stabbed.
This is Frankie and Lennon by Sumi Bell. Hey, the door was open.
Perfect timing. I'll make tea. You alright? You look very happy.
Pretty good. Busy at the shop, but yeah, pretty good. You?
Yeah, fine. So, you gonna tell me about this man that put that smile on your face?
Why do you assume it's up to a man?
Frankie.
Lennon.
Frankie.
I can make myself happy, can't I? Independent woman. Remember?
Frankie.
Slept with Riley.
Riley? Riley from school? Riley who you told no about 50 times?
Yeah, Riley! He's changed a lot since school. He actually has a lot going for him. He showed me his plans for him to take over his father's business. The car dealership, you remember?
Oh yeah. That's still running.
Yeah, he works there on weekends. His dad is going to hit the bucket soon, apparently. The big C got him.
Oh, that's horrible. I'll pray for him. He's such a lovely man. He used to bring those homemade cookies, remember?
Riley baked some for me. Naked.
Lucky girl. He fed you and fucked you.
Lennon, don't judge me, alright? You were just like me until you met June. Now you even have a swear jar and say God bless you whenever I sneeze.
Judge? Frankie, honey, I would never judge. But I do have something to tell you. Something I don't think you're gonna like very much.
Go on. Lennon, you're making me nervous.
Okay. You know how Jude is always talking about Lancaster?
Lennon, you can't be serious.
We're moving up there. Just don't hate me.
Seriously? What the fuck, Lennon? They're Amish! They're fucking Amish!
I know. Jude said when we have kids, it'd be good to bring them up in a more conservative way.
Conservative! Send them to a fucking boarding school! Don't make them Amish!
Calm down, Frankie. It's still early days.
So there's a chance you might not go?
No. It's happening. I just don't know when yet.
Lennon, how am I gonna see you? We've grown up here. We've been here forever and Jude suddenly comes along and you're thinking about leaving. Come on, just think about it, please.
I have, Frankie. I think it's for the best. It won't be for a few months.
Months.
Yeah, Jude is still learning how to become part of the community and stuff.
They'll shun you.
Why would they shun me?
If they knew about all the things you had done, about the stuff you got up to before Jude happened.
Frankie, they're not going to find out about any of that. And anyway, I'm a whole different person now. New beginnings and everything.
Knew everything. You should stop reading those self-help books and actually think about this. You're not going to know anyone up there.
And what's so bad about that? Honestly, that's a big reason why I want
Why?
to go.
Everyone here knows everyone. We're close.
Everyone here knows everything. That's why.
If this is about the Lennon you were in high school, no one cares. We've all done things that we regret.
Running away isn't gonna make you feel better about yourself. Come on, Lennon, you know this.
But Jude,
What about her? Jude. She's gonna find out sometime. It should be from you instead of being shunned by an entire village.
I can't. How would I tell her about all of that? She thinks I'm so innocent.
Maybe I should tell her then.
No.
Maybe she doesn't need to know then. She's gone on this long not knowing. And anyway, I guess if you really love her and all that cheesy shit, then you should be able to tell her. But obviously, because she's such a stuck-up cow, you can't. So you keep it all bottled up for the rest of your life. And then when you retire, which by the way, in Lancaster, it will be sooner, one day you're gonna snap. Your cat is gonna run away, and you'll tell her everything. Then you'll have to come back here. Okay?
Right. Sorted. So you're going to help me pack?
This is my interpretation of the will by Anastasia Nikolskaya.
The casket, 18th century, to Casino Arabella, the mirror in the golden frame to...
I didn't think you'd show up.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
So, what? You haven't seen our mother in 4 years and now you turn up at the reading of her will?
I presume you're always much better then. You've been waiting here for years, waiting for her to die.
I loved Mother, I took care of her.
Yes. However, I doubt she needed your care that much.
I don't even know why you bothered to come. It's not like you're going to get anything. Like, maybe a vase or something. But I should be the sole heir.
Oh? I doubt you're going to get the money. Oh, and what's it you've been dreaming about for 20 years? The seaside house? Yes, good luck with that. Mother treasured that house. There's no way she'd leave it with you.
She knew I loved that house.
But let's be honest, she didn't care enough to know what we wanted.
I've been there. I was
Meanwhile,
patient.
I was making my own way in life. Who do you think she respected more? Because let's be honest, it wasn't about love. It was about respect.
Seriously? I write and read every will in this town, and I always have to assist to these family fightings. I have my problems. My husband cheats on me. He drinks all of the money, and like I always have to listen to other people's problems. Ladies, please, be quiet. Honor the memory of the deceased. Finally, to my children, Leah Harper Turner, 25% of the family savings, 10% of the company shares, and any 2 of our flats in London to own and use however she wishes.
What is that?
And to Alexandra Claire Turner, the remaining 60% of the savings, 50% of the shares, and all the remaining property, including the family mansion, the penthouse, and the seaside house, to own and use however she wishes.
This can't be.
Oh, well, that's decided then.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, sis. I'll let you visit. Sometimes.
Here we conclude the reading of Mrs. Virginia K. Turner's will.
Bye, Leah. I'll see you at the funeral.
Miss Moore, there must be a mistake in the will.
Miss Turner, if you had any objection, you're welcome to make an appointment with me in my office. Now, excuse me.
You don't understand. There is something wrong, I know it.
Miss Turner, make an appointment. Miss Turner, what are you doing?
Well, the way I see it, you're not overly busy at the moment, are you?
What? I had other places to be.
But you're here now and it won't take long, I promise.
Very well. Let's talk, Mrs. Turner. You said you want to appeal against the will.
Yes, I do. Miss Moore, you have to understand, my mother was an old woman. Her mind has weakened. You have to take that into account.
It is a serious concern, and many wills that get annulled because of it.
Of course.
However, I don't think this is the case of your mother's will. Mrs. Turner asked a doctor to examine her to avoid any confusion. She was perfectly capable of making decisions like that.
My sister almost got everything. She hasn't visited or called in more than 4 years. She has never been interested in the well-being of my mother, and she obviously was interested in her fortune. She must have done something. There is no way she got anything legally.
Unless you have indisputable evidence, you can't possibly take this to court.
Okay, Mrs. Moore, I will talk to you honestly and openly. I'm sure you'll be able to understand each other better this way, don't you think? You are a smart woman, Mrs. Moore. You understand what I want, and despite what you think, I am not stupid. And I know you want something too.
Miss Turner, you will have to leave. What would your mother say if she saw you now?
She would either be appalled or proud. I don't know. I didn't know her well enough to predict her reaction. And sorry, I don't really care what she thinks. I gave up my life for her. I was the one who was there. She was never there. Name your price. I assume you've done this before. I promise you, I am much more generous.
We shouldn't talk about it here.
I have no patience for going around the subject in circles. 15%. And at this rate, I won't give you anything more than 20. Do you understand?
Miss Turner.
You've read her will. Even 5% of that isn't even enough.
Melissa? Melissa, I'm busy for the rest of the day. Cancel everything and tell everyone not to bother me. Miss Turner. Please, tell me what concerns you about your mother's will.
Directors, thank you for the scenes in that showcase. You've given us a lot to think about. I think in my estimation of them, I'll say there is a clear order that I see. So I'm interested in hearing your perspectives on all of the scenes. Let's start with the first will, Abby's scene.
I think with some of her former work, it was very clear concepts.
Yeah.
She didn't tackle the script sort of as literally or as naturalistically as some of the other directors did. She thought carefully about style, rhythm. I liked her play with repetition. I thought the object work was good. I was really interested in the books that Emily had and the way that she was dealing with them.
And I also thought that interest in detail was quite layered in the movement work as well. And there were some wonderful dark tones, particularly when he touches her hair. So it kind of hinted at incest. And I kept wondering what those additional meanings were being kind of generated through the performance. So I actually thought that within those 5 minutes, there was quite a lot of rich material being generated in that space.
I also really liked that it was clearly Abby's scene, I felt, but not in a repetitive way, because last challenge we were sort of saying, you know, where will she go from here? Will it be more of the same, or where will there be something new? And I thought this time she was like, I'm gonna do text work, but I'm gonna do it Abby style. And I felt like that she's really started to show us a clear aesthetic, sort of her work. 2, High Street. I thought that the character development between the two girls was super strong.
I think the good thing with that as well is it was almost, their relationship was non-gender specific. It's like it could have been 2 female characters, it could have been a male or a female.
I liked the scene, but for me the character development wasn't that clear actually. I think that this ambiguous stranger who's stealing from them, or there's like this potential of violence, wasn't very clear. I liked how it started. I liked his mumbling and speech, and I actually thought maybe there needed to be a clearer choice between actually playing the comedy of this stranger, or allowing us to feel some sort of sense of danger or the threat of violence or the potential of something erupting. And I didn't feel like there was any potential of anything erupting actually at any point.
Yeah, I think I agree with Bryce. One of the questions that I put down in my notes was, where is the character development? And I think I did see a lack of that, but I thought it was very well acted, and it was very convincing. And the three characters, the aggressive, loud-mouthed one, the slightly frivolous, capricious one, and the sort of the fool in the middle of these two characters. I thought that the performances were very convincing.
I agree. So 3, Frankie and Lennon. I thought there were some great moments in this one where I could see how they were related to each other, or their sort of relationship. I liked the consistent sort of lean in, the sort of Frankie, that sort of like, like I know you. I sort of liked that. I thought that the way that the chairs were set up was too stagey, and it sort of, no two friends actually sit like that, right? So then, but it sort of impeded, I feel like, the development of their body language as friends.
For me, I actually found this the weakest out of all the performances. I felt that Courtney played it completely safe with her direction. From the seating arrangement, it was very basic, it was very generic, and the text, the script that they had, was quite powerful. There was a chance to really sort of get some emotions going, really play with it, and it just fell flat.
4, second will, the will part 2. After Poppy left, I think Poppy's great. I think she's really captivating. I'm drawn to look at Poppy. I think after that, when it was just sort of here, it seemed like it'd run its course. It seemed like that was the sort of direction decision, and then after that, it was sort of not so many more decisions. Kat was sort of changing a little bit the distance to us, and I wasn't sure how intentional any of it was.
Well, it became overly reliant on the script itself, which meant that at any time you are overly reliant on reading, you lose the energy and the tension and the dynamic, and that did happen. So I think a lot of lines needed to be cut.
Yeah.
It needed more editing, definitely. Yeah. And I thought there was this bag at first as a bargaining tool. I thought it was so dynamic, and then they didn't make anything of it, and then it sort of like just disappeared. And as soon as it disappeared off the table, I thought, "Oh no!"
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a great moment, and it felt like that's another time that's why we were here.
Yeah,
that's because it felt invasive into us, right?
Yeah.
As that sort of like grabbing of possessions. Welcome back, directors. We have made our decision. But first, we're going to provide a little bit of feedback of what we thought of each of the scenes. And we will begin with the first scene, Abby's scene.
I thought it was actually quite exciting to see the movement and the text being led so innovatively. I also thought that the way in which you added in certain additional moments and movements, for instance, the way he touched her hair, added another layer of meaning which complicated the narrative in that space. And we as an audience were left wondering whether there was incest, whether there was certain darker tones or hues, and I thought that was quite successfully communicated.
So then Rebecca's scene number 2, High Street.
My question is, in the original script, what was the two actresses, were they male or female characters?
Male.
Both male characters?
But I thought it would be interesting to make them both female and explore a relationship between the girls playing good cop, bad cop, and see. I tried to create some subtext so you would see that where this sort of relationship explore beneath, and hopefully asking questions to what has happened before.
Because it really worked, for me, it worked very well, the ambiguity of it, and it was, you gave away just enough, but then not too much to keep the audience sort of engaged and being like, where is this going? Who are they to each other? So that I felt worked really, really well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great, and then Courtney?
Courtney, for me, I feel like you're holding back. a little bit, if I'm honest. You can see that you've got the ideas, you can see that you conceptualise, but I just feel you need to be a little bit braver with sort of your choices. So the piece, it was a beautiful piece, and you had a really strong, interesting text to work with, and it just felt a little bit safe. And I sort of see glimmers of bravery in what you do, and I want to see more of that. I want you to do more risk-taking, because I think you can go from being sort of like here to then start playing around in sort of like this area.
I think, I'd completely agree, and just to kind of add on to that, I think it might be useful for you to sort of think of space as quite fluid rather than fixed. The moment you start with 2 chairs fixed in space, that very same moment you're closing it in, and the opportunities for the space to be playful then really begins to seize.
Grace, Will Part 2.
Well, it's so excited to invite an actor onto the bench with us, obviously. All of us picked up on a very particular moment in the scene that was very dynamic. Can you guess what that was?
The internal monologue?
No, it wasn't the internal monologue.
That was an internal monologue.
It was the bag.
Oh, we liked the internal monologue too.
We also liked the internal monologue.
Yeah, we did like
Although
that.
I didn't realize it was internal.
Well,
But
it was.
We did love the bag as well.
Because the bag sort of, penetrated actually into the scene, so it went beyond just the actor coming amongst us, the audience. What I thought was, I was so sad when the bag disappeared, because I thought this is the object, the bargaining tool in this whole relationship. And actually the fighting over the bag could have been the thing that remained tense, and also keeps engaging us as an audience who are, somehow interacting with the actors themselves. So I thought, this is the thing you have to play with, and then you put it, and then it suddenly disappears into the table. So once you find that thing, that object that has its potentials, keep thinking about what more you can do with it.
I will say to everyone, we are all rooting for all of you, actually, and I am totally the kind of person who wants one winner and one winner only, and they're the champion. But I'm pulling for all of you. You've really shown me lots of who you are through your scenes, and you've all shown your development, have begun to be more playful, I think, and I'm super excited to see where you guys go. Again, I'm rooting for all of you.
And we did find something very exciting in all of your scenes.
Absolutely.
It gave us a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. The winner today, congratulations, is Abby. Three points will be awarded to Rebecca, 2 points will be awarded to Courtney, and 1 point for Grace. And I'd also like to tell the 4 of you, your next challenge starts now. Be sure to tune in next week to Project Directing.